Why NDIS quotes matter. An NDIS quote helps participants understand the support, cost and conditions before choosing a provider. A clear quote can reduce confusion, support better decision-making, and help participants compare services more fairly. Explains expected costs, supports informed choice, helps compare providers, reduces surprise fees, builds trust early. What is an NDIS quote? An NDIS quote is a written estimate of the expected cost of a support or service. It usually explains the service type, provider rate, estimated hours or sessions, possible extra charges, and total cost before services begin. Given before support starts, shows expected pricing, explains service details, helps review budget, supports invoice checks, quote versus invoice versus service agreement. A quote explains the expected cost before support begins. An invoice asks for payment after support is delivered. A service agreement explains the terms between the participant and provider. Quote, expected cost invoice, payment request, service agreement, support terms. All details should match what should be included in an NDIS quote. A good NDIS quote should clearly show who the provider is, who the quote is for, what support will be delivered, and how the cost has been calculated. It should also explain any extra charges that may apply. Provider details, participant details, service description, support item code rates and total cost, extra fees and terms. What different NDIS quotes may include? Different services need different quote details. A support worker quote may focus on shifts, rates and travel, while a therapy quote may include reports, planning and non-face-to-face work. SIL quotes are usually more detailed. Support worker quotes, therapy quotes, behaviour support quotes, support coordination quotes, SIL quotes, personal care quotes, plan managed, self-managed and agency managed quotes. The way a participant's plan is managed can affect how quotes, invoices and payments are handled. A clear quote helps the participant, plan manager or NDIA payment process understand what is being charged and why. Plan managed. Plan manager checks invoices. Self-managed. Participant keeps records. Agency managed. Registered provider claims through NDIA. Details should be clear before support starts. Before accepting a quote, check your plan management type so the provider includes the right invoice details, payment process and claiming information. Can registered providers charge above limits? For supports with an NDIS price limit, registered providers must not charge above the relevant maximum amount. The price limit is the highest allowed charge, not always the required price. Providers may charge less. Participants can ask questions, extra fees should be clear. Quotes should match invoices, pricing should be transparent. What should you check before accepting a quote? Before accepting an NDIS quote, participants should check that the service, cost and terms are clear. The quote should explain what support will be delivered and whether extra charges may apply. Service description. Participant goals, rate and pricing method, support item code, travel and cancellation terms, GST and total cost. Common red flags in an NDIS quote. A quote may need closer review if it is vague, rushed or missing important details. Participants should not feel pressured to accept a quote they do not understand. No cost breakdown, vague service wording, missing support item codes, unclear travel fees, unclear cancellation terms, pressure to sign quickly. Questions to ask a provider before accepting a quote. Asking questions before accepting a quote is a normal part of choosing an NDIS provider. A transparent provider should explain the quote clearly and respectfully before services begin. What is included? Is travel included? Are reports charged separately? What happens if I cancel? Will invoices match the quote? How long is the quote valid? Ask questions before agreeing to a quote so you understand what is included, what may cost extra, and what to expect once services begin. Simple NDIS quote. Checklist. A clear NDIS quote should include the key details needed to understand the service, compare providers, and check costs before agreeing. This helps participants review the quote with more confidence. Provider and participant details. Quote. Date and expiry, service description, support item code, rate and quantity, total cost, extra charges. Why clear quotes support choice and control. Choice and control work best when participants understand their options. A clear quote helps participants compare providers, review costs, ask questions, and choose supports that match their goals and budget. Supports informed choice, helps compare providers, protects participant budgets, reduces invoice confusion, builds trust with providers. Understanding your quote before services. Begin. Before services begin, participants should understand the support, cost, terms, and any extra charges in the quote. It is helpful to review the details, ask questions early, and make sure the service agreement matches the quote. At Effective Care, we explain service details clearly so participants and families can make informed choices with confidence.